If you're a real estate agent and you're tired of cold calling, door knocking, and spending money on ads, then subscribe to this podcast. We discuss leveraging the power of YouTube for your real estate business and how these strategies earned us over $1 million in GCI our first year in real estate. My name is Levi Lascsak and my partner is Travis Plumb. Let's get started. And we are live today in YouTube for real estate, the real agents. And what we're discussing today is seasonal versus evergreen. Isn't that right, Chrissy? That's what we're covering?
Yes,
right.
That's it.
And we're here with my co-host, trusty advisor, and long-term sidekick, Chrissy. So thanks for joining us today. So yeah, let's just kick it off. And seasonal versus evergreen, we'll wait and give it some time. If you're watching online, feel free to throw some comments out in the chat. If you are coming in, if you come in backstage on the studio, then we'll take a look and bring you up on at some point. And then once I get through discussing seasonal versus evergreen, then we will jump into Q&A portion. So the thing is that we talk about seasonal versus evergreen, especially being on video on YouTube, is this provides you the best opportunity to continually be found day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And so evergreen content, and for those that don't know, an evergreen tree has its leaves all year long. So that's where the saying comes from. So that some would say that makes it a relevant tree all year long, right? Because if the tree loses its leaves, then it's no longer relevant. But anyways, you get the idea. Evergreen versus seasonal. Seasonal, of course, means you think about seasonal employees. So you think about people that just get hired on for the Christmas season or for, the Halloween stores that open up during Halloween. Easter, Easter decorations, Easter displays, Easter candy, all that comes in. Maybe they add an extra employee or two, but seasonal is temporary or for a short period of time. So if you think about it, if you're creating content, which would you rather have? Would you rather have seasonal content or evergreen content? Well, evergreen content is what lives forever, allows you the opportunity to continually be found, and it's what is going to give you the best opportunity to generate business through the content you make, and is really allowing yourself to duplicate and leverage yourself with the power in video. And that's what we talk about all the time, is ultimately what you're doing on video is leveraging yourself, because all video is sales and communication at scale. And so, you have these conversations with clients every single day. If I went to your neighborhood right now to buy a home and I came from out of town or even a different area of your town or even a different part of your state, I said, hey, could you take me around and show me all the different neighborhoods or explain to me why this neighborhood is nicer than this neighborhood or why are homes more expensive over here versus over there? You would be able to tell me that. You would be able to talk me through that. And I'm assuming without a script. You're probably not going to be in the car driving around with your script and all your stats and data on the neighborhood. You're probably not going to be walking me through a house with your script in place and telling me the population, the exact population and the exact stats and data of the neighborhood. You're probably going to tell me what we talk about as friends. You're going to tell me about the neighborhood, about living there, a friend you may have living there. Maybe you lived there a couple of years ago or 10 years ago, or a lot has changed over the last 10 years, or you couldn't imagine this place 20 years ago. So you could have all those conversations with me. The problem is you could look at it at this point as that's a seasonal conversation. The way you look at it is that conversation lives and dies with that client in that day. Once that client goes home, your conversation is lost forever. However, if you had a camera person following you around the whole time, and I know most people don't, and that would probably be weird anyways, unless you have a TV show. But the thing is you've had somebody following you around and they were capturing that conversation will live forever on whichever channel you decide to display that on, which, by the way, if you ever watch any show, I don't know about this. I don't watch TV show, and I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've caught like an episode here or there. The time or two that I have turned on the TV, let's say Seinfeld, for example, or Friends. I never watched an entire season of Friends or Seinfeld. However, I feel like every time if I were to turn on the TV, do you ever get caught in the same episode like 2 or 3 times? Like you're going, how is this possible? I turn on the TV once a year and I see the same Friends episode that I saw last year and the year before that. And did they ever make any other episodes? What's going on? Or Fixer Upper, right? Fixer Upper, if you turn on HGTV, it's like the same episode of the same season on Fixer Upper every time you're on HGTV. And I'm going, wait a second. Okay, so but that's an evergreen video because, again, they're replaying it over and over and over and over again. Now, the thing is though, you can't go to HGTV and search for that, at least not on TV. I guess now they probably have a mobile app, and you could probably go on the mobile app or go into iTunes and buy the season, or now they have the Magnolia app, but that's creating content that people can find. But that's the beauty about YouTube is if evergreen content is there, which means that video is relevant any day, night, weekend, month, year, this year, last year, next year, you know, to a certain extent, people will find that relevant. And that is creating a strategy so that that video can be found over and over and over and over again. So not only do you get the initial views from whenever the video gets released, but you're going to be capturing views, you know, as long as that video lives on YouTube and as long as it's searchable. So a lot of people, and if you were to create seasonal content, then that's likely to die out very quickly. Now the power in that is for example, we've got a video. Actually, let me do this quick experiment, right? Let's see if we can do the share screen, because I happen to have my, I'll show this for example. So let me click on here. Chrissy, can you see my backend analytics of the channel?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So let's go on to, well, here it is right here. Look at this. So you can see all of our backend analytics, and I'll take a look at Don't Move to Dallas, and I'm going to click on that. It's still in the top 3. So look at this. This video was published on, let's say, May 23rd, around, that's not the exact time, but May 23rd, May 24th, somewhere around there. And we're well past that, a year past that. Look at this right here. Look at this little tick. You see, you can almost see that slight tick up right there. That means it's gaining second momentum. Look at this. In the last 48 hours, it's at 292 views. And look at the amount of views it's getting. You know, you can see as in hour by hour basis here, but look at it's suggested and browsed, which means YouTube is still promoting this video and pushing it out well over a year later, and even caught a second win. So look, at this point, it had 31,000 views since from May to December. So let's call that seven months, right? Okay, let's look at that. Now from December to where are we at? July, I guess that's about another 7 months. It's at 70,000. So it's actually gained another 40,000 views in almost that same 7-month time period. So think about that. And that's on the back half of it. So the last 7 months, it's gained an extra 10,000 views compared to the first 7 months because this video is evergreen. I can't stand Dallas. You know, what we're talking about is all the things we don't like about Dallas, but still the things we don't like about Dallas are still relevant to today, and people are still finding that relevant. So it's still getting views, it's still getting traction. YouTube still sees it as relevant and still pushing it out. Now, if you look at a seasonal video, this is where, if we stay in the real estate space, then you know, this is where agents would usually film market reports. I mean, let's just face it, a market report is as good as dead by the next week, by the next month, definitely by the next 2 months. Because if I go to your channel, unless I'm a real estate historian and I'm truly interested in this, you know, your market report from October of 2021 really doesn't serve me much purpose. Now, if I'm just interested in that, maybe I might find it relevant, but that's why a lot of times when people post market reports, especially on YouTube, then at that point, people don't find it relevant. They jump off of it very quickly. And YouTube, that triggers YouTube to say, okay, not a lot of people are interested in this video. They keep jumping off very quickly. Therefore, we're not going to promote it out to people because they're not sticking around to watching it. So a market report, an open house video. If you're saying, hey, I'm here at my open house at 123 Main Street, well, that's very specific. On top of that, you're probably doing that selfie style, holding the phone or with a selfie stick or something. Maybe your friend is holding the phone, but you're talking about a specific time. So if somebody finds that video, they may find that as seasonal content because they'll say, oh, well, this was an open house from 6 months ago. not relevant anymore, I might as well jump off. And so that again could trigger YouTube to say, okay, well, people are keep jumping off as soon as you open that video and say, hey, we're here at my open house at 123 Main Street, and it's Saturday, the 25th, or they see the publishing date, they're going to put 2 and 2 together likely, and maybe jump off from there. Listing videos is something that we've talked about as well. Listing videos typically have not done well, on YouTube unless they're in the multi-million-dollar range. But there is a way to film listing videos strategically so that they do live forever. But otherwise, if somebody finds that video, if you're doing a listing video selfie style on a $500,000 house, usually doesn't get a lot of traction on YouTube. And so creating content that is evergreen, which means the subjects are relevant and the subject is relevant, the information is relevant, it's enough to stay, to be relevant when people find that, they still find value in the content. And that's the strategy that will last over time. Plus, evergreen content is searchable, and searchable content is evergreen. Now, this is an argument I've had with my good friend Professor Neves. I say an argument, but I would say a discussion that we've had several times, because he truly believes in suggested and browse. And yes, that's great. Suggested and browse means that YouTube is finding value with their audience in that video, and so they're suggesting and putting it out there, in places, and that's going to give you a lot of views, especially on the front end. However, as soon as YouTube decides that that video is no longer part of the suggested or browse, they'll start to wind that down. And so therefore, what you want is, I believe you want an evergreen strategy behind your videos, because as the suggested and browse starts to lower, search will come up and help keep that video relevant, because as long as those topics are searchable, the keywords are in place, the title is correct, the title is relevant, and there's the topics that will be relevant for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Or you could even simply change the date in your title to update it, then that makes it relevant, and people will always be searching that content. But again, browse and suggested, yes, very powerful, and you definitely want that, and that is a primary goal. But again, once YouTube starts to pull back on that, you don't want the video to completely die out or for nobody to ever find it again. So the way we structure things around search, now we talk about this as well, is that we optimize for the algorithm in the beginning because you don't have an audience. But as you develop an audience, then you optimize for the audience. And where you will start understanding your audience, because you're going to be reading the comments, you're going to be having discussions with them, you're going to be talking to them on a daily basis, you're going to be selling them homes. And so then you get to understand more and more what's valuable to them, and that helps you create specific content that you don't necessarily need to find out if everybody's searching it. You know that it's going to be relevant for the audience that you're looking for. So that's very powerful on that standpoint. But in the beginning, when you don't have an audience, you have no views, you have no subscribers, the easiest way to be found is by creating search content. It's by building the content that people are already looking for and just putting it in front of them. And I love the analogy. This is what I say. It's the old, I'll give you my analogy, but the old analogy, or the relevant, what I mean. The old analogy is that, what do you need to have a successful food stand? If you were to have a food stand, you were going to go into the food stand business, what would you need to be relevant? Well, some would say you need the right location. You need good food. You need good weather. All these things that they believe is going to help the food stand be successful. But the reality is all you need is a starving audience. And if you have a starting audience, and it doesn't matter if you're up on the hill, they will get there. It doesn't matter if your food is mediocre, they'll probably eat it. It doesn't matter if it's raining outside, they'll probably still come to you. So if you have the starving audience, they will find a way, you still have an opportunity to serve them. And the analogy I like to say is that YouTube is a desert. It is a desert. It is vast. There's billions and billions of views and billions of videos on that platform. So, you think about it. People go, oh, I'm going to upload my one video and I'm going to go viral. And the reality is that, nope, You're just throwing sand out there in the desert with everyone else. Now, I could have 50 gallons of water, right around me, and I could just sit in one place in the desert, and there's people wandering the desert, and they're thirsty. They're thirsty. They're looking for water. But they may never find me, first of all, because I'm just sitting in one location. On top of that, I'll catch some scragglers. There's going to be some scragglers coming over the sand dunes, and they're going to be like, oh my God, there's a guy with 50 gallons of water. I'm going to go over there and drink some water. And so you will find a couple of people, and that's whenever you get the 1 or the 2 or the 3 views. But if I'm in the desert and I have a GPS coordinates, of a little colony of people stuck under a palm tree that are dying of thirst, and I just say, okay, well, I'm going to go over there and take my water with me. Guess what? Do you think they're going to drink? Absolutely. They're all going to drink water. They're going to be happy to drink water. And guess what? They'll probably stick around and then follow you wherever you go. Because if you go, well, hey, I'm going to go find the next batch of people, and they're going to be like, well, hey, you've got all the water, so I'm going to follow you. So that's the thing, is that is search-based content, in my opinion, is that the audience is there in the desert of YouTube, but you have to search and figure out what are they already searching for, and then you put the content in front of them. So in the beginning, we never really made content that we wanted to make necessarily. We made content that was already being searched, and that helped us get found sooner rather than later. Then as we developed the audience and became familiar with them and understood them better and had those conversations and talked to them and sold them homes and helped them and worked with them and their families and everyone else, you understand, okay, even this can be a little bit more customized, or I can build a video around this, or these are the questions that they really have. And so then your audience gets really dialed in at that point, and you can create content for the audience. And that's what we say, optimize for the audience. Optimize for the algorithm in the beginning, optimize for the audience as you have that audience established. And I think that's what's going to allow you to sustain and grow continually with your channel and have a good balance of search-based content and audience-based content and evergreen content. Ideally, if you can make most of your content evergreen. Now, I'm not saying don't ever do a market report, but there's really some good ways, and I would look into how to do this. Is you could create a market report and make it an evergreen video, but you have to understand how to tell a story and make that just a small part of the video versus the entire video. And what could you add to that in the beginning or the end to make that more relevant, so if somebody finds it later on down the road that they're going, okay, well, I know there's a market report in here, but still the information on the front or the back end is still relevant to me. So there's different ways to do that, and that would be more ideal. But otherwise, if you stick to content that people are searching and you study that information and you create that content, it's going to help you get found sooner rather than later. So, did I leave anything out there, Chrissy? I don't know.
No, well, and I was going to say, there is a way, because I think sometimes people get confused too with seasonal, because they think of like literal seasons too. And I think that there's something that we could probably call more like semi-seasonal content that you could do and redo, and it would have life again down the road. So, I mean, there's a really good example. I think last year around, well, I guess it was February when you guys had the apocalypse, when you said, does it snow in Dallas? And that's not relevant in summer, but next February, that's going to be relevant again, right? So when we talk about, we've talked about this before, where we sometimes will bank on some of the major holidays and things like that. We've done some Christmas content. We've done some, summer content around lake life and stuff like that. That's kind of what I would call kind of semi-seasonal content, where it can have new life again a year later. And that's the kind of stuff you can kind of bank on. And that kind of stuff will get you a lot of traffic too, especially when you do that around holidays, and it will push the rest of your content out. So there is strategy behind using kind of like that semi-seasonal stuff, but you just kind of, the rule of thumb I feel like needs to be, can it live again? Will it live again? If your market report is going to be completely irrelevant in 3 weeks, that's probably not going to be considered something that could, have another life. Another really good example of that, I don't know if any of you here have ever heard of Trey Kennedy. He has Fall Girls Be Like. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's all of the things that girls say around fall. And he re-releases that every single fall, and he gets millions of views for that. And it's brilliant because it's all based around kind of a holiday season, and it pushes the rest of his videos out. I've watched his analytics, and when he re-releases that or re-promotes that every year, it pushes everything else out on his channel. So just kind of think of that as you're kind of creating your content, and kind of have some ideas of some of that semi-seasonal content to kind of push into your strategy too, because in its own way, it is also evergreen. So there are ways to kind of incorporate that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And yeah, we definitely made the snow apocalypse. First of all, you know, that's the thing. If you want to make a video, make a video. I mean, one video is not going to kill your channel either. Okay, so that's something else. And so, you know, that amount of snow in Dallas was unprecedented. And I mean, it dumped on us and everything froze. It was there for a week. Normally, if it snows in Dallas, it's one day. It was 70 degrees the day before. It's 70 degrees the day after. It comes a little light sprinkles. It's gone the next day. And so it's not a big deal. But this was, I mean, a dumping, like a Colorado dumping on Dallas. So I was like, I got to make, plus you heard what Chrissy said, does it snow in Dallas? So we titled it in a search format in the way people would type that into the search bar if they're curious, because we do get that question, because people coming from all over they're like, does it even snow in Dallas? I mean, that is a evergreen question. So therefore, now it clearly gets a lot more views, especially right then. That's what is referred to in YouTube Secrets. The book is the tentpole strategy as well. Whenever you have a major event like that, there's going to be natural surf traffic, or a spiking of search traffic. There's going to be spiking of interest. And so if you can create some content around that, that's great to capture that spike. But what you're likely going to see is a significant drop off from there. But if you can position it, just like we talked about with the market report, where, you know, what can you add in at the beginning? What can you add in at the end to keep it relevant? That's why we titled the video in the way we did. And then also just kind of talked about a little bit of the neighborhood and the surrounding area as well, just to still make the video relevant, but also a search term. And again, going back to the lake life, yes, that was seasonal for the fact that we would prefer to make a lake video in the middle of summer than the winter. And so we made that video, and because, again, a question that we saw over and over and over and over again from our clients. So that's, again, that's going to optimizing for your audience versus optimizing for the algorithm. Whenever we get questions all the time, well, what's the lake life like? What happens? You guys don't have beaches. You don't have mountains. So what do you do for fun? You just sit around and just bake like a cookie on the side of the road? You know, that's what they think we do down here in Texas. And we say, no, well, we got 5 lakes within, 15, 20 minutes of Dallas. You can go to any one of them, do some water skiing, cliff jumping, surfing, wake surfing, all kinds of stuff. That's what we grew up on here in Texas. We grew up on the lake. That was our fun. And guess what? There's no sharks in those lakes. So what was it? I've seen there, like Florida. Is it Florida, Hawaii? I mean, these places are getting hammered with sharks right now. So you go have your fun day at the beach. All right. We'll stay safe in the lake with the alligator. No, there's no alligators in Texas. So. That's the lakes in Louisiana. So no, but other than that, yeah, so think about how you can position it there. So that's a really, really great point. So let's see who we got here. Susan, can I get a thumbs up? Are you, no? Your thumbs up? We're going to bring you on, see what you got to say. And you get, I like that shirt. You're looking nice and colorful today.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I finally got my camera to work. Thank you. So I have a couple of questions. I'm marketing for 2 EXP guys, and we're just about 50 miles to the west of Toronto. All right.
Okay.
And so this whole issue about who gets the profile picture and what should we do with that, and they want to put their little 905 logo in the profile picture, so that's beside the comments. And does that sound right to you, or do you really think there should be a face there? I mean, they're being picky, but I just want to do it right.
Okay, so let me clarify. You are the marketing arm of the 2 agents that are doing the business.
I'm the Levi.
All right. Oh, so you're making the videos.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, not with me in them, but I'm helping them. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So they're still the face of the channel.
Yes, yes.
So what we recommend, I mean, it's just shown over and over and over again that people connect with people, first of all. So
I told them that, but I said, ask him anyway.
I mean, people connect with people best of all. And what's funny is we had Buck Wise in Dallas. I don't know, a month or so ago, we did a little shared speaking event together, and he brought up this point. If you think about Ryan Serhant, who actually we got a chance to hang out with this last weekend, very cool opportunity. And Ryan Serhant, you look at his social media following personally through the roof. Millions and millions and millions. You look at his brokerage, Serhant, which has a S, as the logo, a lot. Now, to give some context there, the brokerage is new, is about a year old. So, Ryan's been working on his personal brand for years. So a little context there, but almost you can find that case almost anywhere you look, is that if there's a personal brand or versus the company brand, and you'll see this now, like what's one of the most popular things for content these days? It's the actual CEOs of the companies, and a lot of time nobody knows what these people have built or what they've done. And so that's the funny thing, is that Alex Hormozy talks about this, and Alex Hormozy just came out of nowhere, and everybody's like going, who is this guy? And he's like, well, he's been building a business for 10 years. He only started his personal brand for over the last 6 months to a year, but his personal brand has far surpassed his company brand that he's generated $100 million from his business, but the social following is still lackadaisical compared to as soon as he came out with his personal brand and started talking about business concepts and ideas and things like that, it shot way past that. And so you find that it's like Tim Bilyeu of Quest Bar, right? I mean, how many followers does Quest Bar have on social media? But Tom Bilyeu has multiple YouTube channels with millions of followers, a renowned speaker, but it's the business that he built. So now that's to say, ultimately you can do what you want, right?
I told them, but I'll share with you the answer I gave them. They just gave me pushback, which is why I'm making you the bad guy, So, I said to them, look, let's just have, Sean 1 month, and he answers all the comments for that month. Then I'll switch it over to Leo, and he has to answer all the comments for that month. I don't know. I just thought, what else are you going to do? Because I heard you say, don't put two heads in a profile picture.
Well, again, a recommendation, and I always say everything we do is a recommendation, and what got us here doesn't necessarily get someone else there. So, but we know the format, the concepts, all of that, it does work, but it's different markets, different timing, things like that. Now, what I would recommend, I believe, what you're referring to is what I recommend is really one person becomes that face. And now for us, it's pretty simple in our business because I make way more content than Travis does. so that's easy. We still drag him along kicking and screaming sometimes to make content.
Well, they're kind of bent on having the two of them do some videos.
Well, hey, look, nothing wrong with that. And there is, you can fit two people in there. It's a little weird looking, but now look at our banner too. You go to our channel art. Okay, I may be the face, but you look at our channel art. We're both up there.
Exactly. That's what I was just gonna say.
That's what I said, but hell, okay, I got that. So that kind of leads me to the next question. So if I have a team of like 20, and it's a regular agency, who are we going to put up there? Because I'd be nervous to put one person in case they left. Like, how would you handle that when there's a team?
Yeah, so we've done this, and but I never put anybody on the team on the channel for well over a year. I mean, the channel was established, the brand is established,
right.
And a couple of those people on the channel, they're not with us anymore. But doesn't matter really, in my opinion. What we wanted to do was prove the concept that I didn't have to be the face. And the thing is once the brand is established and the audience is established, we incorporated team members, and their videos were just as successful. And
I saw that.
Actually, AJ, I'm still mad at him because he's got like the third most viewed video on our channel. I'm like, that's not fair. But you know what? AJ gets calls all the time, people specifically asking for AJ. So that gave him the opportunity as a brand new agent you know, to generate some quick business because the audience was already established. People immediately connected with his personality and they're like, hey, can I work with AJ? So now if AJ were to start his own channel, it'd probably be a couple of months before he even got, you know, building that up. So now the other aspect of that is, you know, just be careful who you put on the channel too, as well. They need to be good.
Yeah, no, we have to hand pick somebody.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Well, they
It's just
don't.
when it's like brand new and I'm going in and they're saying who should be on the channel, I'm still thinking it should be at least 2.
Yeah.
You know,
It's one thing. It's one thing for the entrepreneurs, the business owners, who you said Leo and who's the other one?
and Sean, yeah.
Leo and Sean. You know, it's okay because, you know, if their first video or two are terrible, that's okay because they're going to build up and that's the natural progression of the channel.
Right.
Or they're not as comfortable on camera. But I don't think, and again, it's just me thinking, that it's probably best to incorporate team members in the beginning. I would want to establish the faces of the channel, the brand of the channel, the authority of the channel. And then once the brand is a little bit more established, now they may have an established brand in the community, or doesn't mean that's established on YouTube though.
No, right,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
So work your way into that.
Yeah.
I would get well down the road to where you have consistency of views, consistency of comments, consistency of calls. And then, you know, you've got to understand and have that conversation with your team members as well. What does this mean? You know, okay, if you come on and you make a video and they ask specifically for you, cool. But if, you know, if we get more calls, that doesn't mean that you're going to get all the leads, you know, So that's the advantage of doing it, is that if you do it, but at the same time, we want to position it as to where, you know, kind of like our discussion with AJ is like, hey, if you're going to get in here, the idea is for you to be consistent as well. So we want to see a video at least once a week or once every other week at least. We need at least 2 per month so that we have some consistency, because also if I'm kind of building out content around that, that's something I want to plan for too. So if AJ says, hey, I'm going to give you 2 videos, and then he doesn't, and then all of a sudden, you know, I don't have 2 videos that I need for a week or something, you know, that comes back on there. So, you know, ultimately I think own the brand, build it, establish the face. And then if there's not an ego fight between the two, you know, well,
no egos in real estate.
Yeah. Then ideally, if one could just be the primary, I believe that's the best way to do it. But again, they can do whatever they want.
Well, I think what I'm going to do is go in and call it a pilot. You can get away with a lot. And so that the others realize that they're just testing it, and then we can come on later. Okay. That's kind of what I just got from you. I think that's where. Okay. So I just want to mention we got the Shure mic, and is it ever clear? We were out on the lake, beside the lake. It was a lot of wind, and the video I think was really clear. Wait till Chrissy gets it; she may think differently, but it was actually very clear. I'm really pleased with that mic. I just want to say that to you if anybody's listening.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, and then the last question. So what happened is, where we, at least the board where we are, the real estate board, you cannot take a picture or show in a video a home that's listed. Cannot. Okay, so we really can't go and say this home that, this home that. So what we've done is we have obviously not walked in front of houses with for sale signs. There's lots of other houses, and then we talk about the price range and the types of houses and the fact that there's a few available now for sale, which actually makes that more evergreen than actually pointing to a specific house, I guess.
Yeah.
But my question is are we losing a psychological edge when they're looking at a house that they could be buying? Are we losing on that, or am I just being too, finicky? Because we are saying that there are houses for sale in this area, and so I don't know. I'm trying to get around that. I don't want this to be a tourist video. The idea is we're supposed to get them interested enough to make a call. And I don't know. I just don't know where to go with that.
Actually, it is kind of a tourist video,
Okay, because, so you're okay with that.
Yeah,
okay.
This is the old Serhant saying, right? People hate being sold to, but they love shopping with friends. So you're taking them on a stroll through the neighborhood.
Okay.
And so absolutely. So that's what I would recommend is walk past that house, and then
you can't do that.
No,
I
I mean,
can't
no,
turn the video.
I mean past it, so it's out of your
right,
shot.
that's what we do.
But if
yeah.
you're allowed to walk in the neighborhood, right?
Right,
Okay,
right.
yeah. So in this neighborhood, there's actually a home listed just a couple of doors down at $575,000.
That's what we should be doing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, and you know, it's been updated. It's got a 2-car
Okay.
garage, and you can see it. It looks pretty similar to the homes I'm walking by right now, and so that should give you a good
Yes.
idea. Yeah.
Thank you. That was my nugget for the day. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's see here. Let's go to the chat real quick. So what's up, living in San Francisco? Hey, living in San Francisco. Good to see you. And let's see. I'm moving to Charleston, South Carolina. What's your preferred source? Let me see. Hassan, I see you. You're up next on deck. So give me a, all right, I got you a thumbs up. What's your preferred source of researching what people are searching for? Is the free TubeBuddy enough to do? You need a paid platform. Okay, so moving to Charlton, and look, he's got a Coldwell Banker in his logo, Susan. Look at that. He's got Coldwell Banker in his logo. So maybe, hopefully you heard that last part. But so let me see. Preferred source of research from people. Yeah, in the beginning, I mean, we found that TubeBuddy works the best. We actually have a link in the description below. And I mean, we highly recommend the Legend version. Actually, if you use code AndrewsBuddy, yes, little secret there, then that should give you a little bit of a discount. I don't know. I didn't try the free version. I mean, I just paid for it. To me, I always look at things as a necessary expense. You know, I'm thinking of the upside. I'm always thinking about what are the commissions I can generate if I find the best search terms versus what's the minimum amount I can pay to, you know, to do what I need to do. I'm just thinking, you know what? I'm kind of like an all-in type of person. I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and just do it right from the beginning so that I can get through this process a lot quicker. And the thing is, with the Legend version, you can do A/B testing, you can do all kinds of stuff in there. So to me, it's just it opens up the SEO Studio, all kinds of stuff. I couldn't even tell you what's in the free version, so I'm not sure. You probably could do some search results in there. I mean, you can go to Google and go to Keyword Planner in Google, and that's free. You can search all day long. But what I found too is that actually I did this research yesterday. I searched real estate agent, I searched plumber, I searched electrician, I searched financial advisor. You would be blown away. You search Plano, Texas, Frisco, Texas. In Google, the searches are here. In YouTube, the searches are on average 8 to 10 times the amount, even for plumber. Now you'd think I don't know. I mean, clearly there's people searching plumber on YouTube, but to have it still like 8 times the search volume as what's on Google, pretty significant. Just tells you people want to see what they're looking for. So if you're trying to start out, I mean, that's an expense because you don't really have a lot of expense with YouTube because you get to publish for free. You don't have to advertise. And if you do the organic strategy correctly, then you know you can generate business. I mean, if I was down to my last $3,000 in real estate, I would pay for editing for 3 months, and I would just make as many videos as that person will edit for me for that $1,000 a month, and be consistent on there. But also, I might save $200 of that to buy TubeBuddy to get my search down, because you can do it just from that. And I think you have a better opportunity to generate business with somebody editing videos versus trying to spend $3,000 on postcards or a magazine ad or some other form of marketing, because it all takes consistency. So, but TubeBuddy for us, and I would highly recommend the free version. All right, Hassan, my man, you ready? All right. You're gonna have to squeeze in. All I see is your calendar.
So I sort of have a technical question. Sorry if you can.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, thank you for.
Yeah, sorry, my camera's a little off. So a quick question regarding the YouTube. I think you saw his picture was saying forward anchor.
Yeah.
Mine simply says M on it, or like I can't upload my picture because I think it's linked to my Google Suite account, and I already have a 3,500 followers. I mean, I just started the channel. So should I start a new channel which gives my and give my face to it, or I should just leave it as it is. It just has like a logo of the first letter of my channel name.
No. Do you have our course?
I have your course, yes.
Okay. I mean, go into channel customization. Go into the channel customization, and you should be able to change your picture.
I tried that, but it's just not allowing. When I reached out to Google, they said because it's linked with your Google Suite account, either you make it your Gmail account. You know how it's your URL is your.
Oh, okay. So what's on your current YouTube channel? Do you have other than real estate related stuff?
No, I do have real estate related stuff. Yes.
Okay. Is there other things on there?
No.
Okay. So probably, I think what happened is that, you can open a brand account, so if you have but that's not the case either, because my YouTube channel, I have
Welcome back. Today we're looking at some entitled people.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Chrissy's watching random TikTok videos right now. She does that all the time. Well, finally, no cats running around or kids running in the room, and she's watching videos now.
Well, one of my tabs, I went to go check a message that someone sent me, and it just opened up a completely other tab.
Okay. So what do you think? Because I know that's not, because I have a Google profile picture that is, it shows up on Maps, it shows up on whenever I log into YouTube, all of that stuff. But for the different channels, even on a personal channel, I mean, I don't really disclose this, but I started a personal channel in 2010, and that's a different picture. So I'd have to go in there and play around and see if I could find out. But otherwise,
I mean, I see something like this. Look.
Okay, the M.
The M is bothering.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not able to change this M at all, and I don't know. Like, is it going to affect in future in my analytics or views or something?
Well, what shows up on your YouTube channel? The M?
Yes, the M.
Can you throw your link to your channel in the chat?
Sure.
What do you think, Chrissy? Have you had an issue with anybody not being able to change their picture?
No, I haven't. We would probably just need to go look in the back end and see where the link is. Because, I think it's easy enough to do it. If it is linked across your entire account, then there's probably not a big problem with just changing it at the top level. Because you can change it if you go back to Google Suite and change it for like your email and your YouTube channel and all of that stuff. And I think if that's the image you want to have for your brand anyway, I don't really see a problem with changing it at the top level. But I do know that some of the older accounts, if you've had it for a few years, I know Google Suite went through a brief period of time where they made everything linked and you had to change it at a different place than you could normally do it on a YouTube channel. So it's possible that just because of the age of your channel, we just need to go back and find, the top level area to change that. But you should be able to change that regardless. It would just change it across multiple channels for your email and all of that stuff.
Okay, so let's say in a situation where I cannot change it because that's what the information I got from Google, saying that no, either you need to just completely turn it off because you are linked with Google Suite. If in that occasion, if I cannot change it, do you suggest I should just go ahead with a new channel and start all over again?
Man, that's a tough one. Let's jump on a quick call after this or something. I'd love to do a screen share and just dig in a little bit and see what we can find. Because I hate for you to, you got 3,500 subs. I would hate for you to have to start over on that. And yeah. I'm just wondering if there's something else where I don't know. It's hard for me to visualize I visualize it in my head. I can see it because I've been back there, but I just can't imagine, what you're seeing. So yeah, let's just jump on we'll just jump on a call,
Awesome.
So
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, hit me up on Messenger, on Facebook, and then I'll send you a link and we'll do a quick screen share.
Awesome. We'll do that. Thank you very much for your
time. All right, you're welcome. What's up, Robert? All right, I see you back there. You got a thumbs up for me, or you wanna come on? You're on mute. You got to give me a thumbs up though, Robert. You're on mute. All right, we'll just risk it. All right, Robert. Now you're on the stream. You got to come off of mute though.
I think you're still muted. Let me see if I can unmute you.
Now, can you hear me?
Oh, there you are.
There we go.
There you
Yeah. Good.
are. All right. What's up, Robert? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing well. Where are you calling from today?
Kind of from Shreveport, Beau,
All right.
Louisiana.
He's just right down the road.
Yeah. And we are in, they've got us to join Netris. So we're in
Oh,
y'all's. Yeah.
in our MLS, huh?
Yeah. Just started my channel last week. So
Okay.
I've got 15 videos already done,
Oh,
so scheduled. So the first 4, I'm already hitting first 1, 2, 3 slots on a few things. So not much competition.
Hey, you know what? Oh, so let's talk about that real quick, because we were just talking about this the other day. That is the beautiful thing about being in a smaller market. We get this question come up quite a bit where people say, well, I'm in a smaller market, or I'm not in Dallas. You're in Dallas with 4 million people and everybody wants to move there. And we're going, yeah, but the smaller market's, number one, untapped, and you get in there first to market. Not only will people come down the road? Sure. But would you rather be 3, 4, 5, 6 months ahead of them? And, once you start holding those top spots, it's very hard to knock people off of those top spots sometimes. Now, you can do it, and we've done it before, but you get up there, especially with what we've shown you. I mean, that's a great way to start capturing that market. And you'll be surprised, even in a smaller market, you'll capture business. And again, you don't have to do the volume that we're doing in Dallas. I mean, if you want to be a solo agent, you create the content up to the point to where you get a little bit too busy. Then you can back off of content a little bit if you want. You can kind of control the narrative. If you want to bring on a buyer's agent, and that could be where you cap out. But if you're doing 2 or 3 or 4 transactions a month and you're happy with that, and you're able to give a buyer's agent 1 or 2 transactions a month, hey, and usually people in smaller markets too are a little bit more on the easygoing lifestyle anyways, right? They're not trying to necessarily conquer the world. Yeah, so you don't have to conquer the world and do 30 transactions a month on YouTube. But if 2 or 3 would change your business, then it's worth it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, even in a small market, I was checking the closings since July 1st, and we had 1,100 closings. So why can't I have 10 of those?
Yep.
That's the kind of thing. I'm studying to take my broker's test to open my own brokerage, and I just want to work on being the front and get the leads, and then hand them over to my agents and just have a flat fee that they would get for closing that for me, type deal, where I'll keep most of the money and they get a freebie. So if I'm giving $2,000, $2,500 a month, just no matter what the price of the house is, then they get 2 of them free. That's $5,000 they're making a month. So they'll be pretty happy. Type thing. So, but we're basically 210,000 people. So it's we have a few $1 million homes, but not to the extent that y'all probably have. Right. But so our average commission might not be as high, so we might have to do a few more, to reach. But it's possible, no doubt, for me to make $1 million next year. So in a small market, the biggest problem is, and I had a question for Chrissy, is in my YouTube, my TubeBuddy, because my SEO score on everything is 100. So I'm hitting all cylinders on that.
Awesome.
The optimization part of it, I'm not really sure, because the highest score I've gotten is 70 out of 100 when I do, search. But, Shreveport's a ratchet city, so I don't know what they're putting in. I'm trying to figure out. I've been living to, what will 300 get me? I mean, so what score should I be happy with? Like, hey, I'm going to run with this, for a little bit.
Well, we really try to shoot for 100 on everything. Now, there are kind of 2 different scores that you're looking at in TubeBuddy. You've got the keyword score, which is 100%. We always do the keyword score, and that's just based on the one keyword. And then you've got an overall score as well, and we look at that. And usually we try to hit 100, but occasionally one factor will play in or another, and it's usually somewhere between 95 and 100. But I really don't like to go below 95. And
Well,
for all of our clients, we really do stick to the 100% for the most part.
But I think Chrissy, I think what he's asking is when he actually does the search and it gives the little meter, right?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, it gives the meter. So the thing is I mean, there's probably just factors that are not, it may not give you 100% because Shreveport, like you said, the search volume, anything like that. Now, also make sure, are you clicking on weighted versus unweighted?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what about that? Which one do I trust?
Well, I mean, really, I think ultimately it doesn't matter too much, but in the beginning, unweighted, if your channel's not established, unweighted kind of gives you a better indicator. But once your channel is established, weighted has more search volume and stats to base it off your channel. But if you're doing different searches like living in, moving to, relocating to, and then they're all like 70, just make the video, again, because it just kind of choose if one's like 70 and one's 72 and the other one's 74, I mean, I would probably go with the 74. So whatever the closest is I can get to it. Because again, I couldn't tell you a single suburb around Shreveport, so it's,
we have a few.
yeah, right. But again, I would start my search in Shreveport. So the other ones may not even come close to having the search volume or the keywords. And maybe some of those keywords aren't even registering because of the search volume is a little bit lower. But again, if you're capturing from Shreveport and then people go to your channel, they find different playlists or find different videos on the different areas, they're gonna be like, oh, I didn't even know that existed over there on the southwest side of Shreveport, so. Right.
And instead of doing suburbs, even though we have them, I'm doing neighborhoods.
Okay. Yep.
And I got a ton. Because each suburb has a good 6 to 7 high end. When you get away from the middle of Shreveport, everything's good. Yeah. I didn't say that, okay? So there is good around, So I'm still able to do the mapping where, hey, you're in North Bossier and you're going to take 220 and come across here and come to Luton and go to the airport. And if you do, and so I just, basically do the same as if they were living in Dallas. It's just that it's on a smaller scale, type thing. So, but good success. Everything, I just followed what you guys said to do, and it's working.
That's
super
awesome.
Super easy.
That's awesome.
I'm excited. So I just can't wait to just share the success after what 5 months is going to do. Because I teach school and I teach real estate to business students, high school students. So this is my last year of teaching because I'm gonna have so much business that I gotta quit, type thing. So so that's my goal, and that's where we're headed. And
how big's your classrooms?
About 25 students, and I have three sets a semester, so I'll have about 75 and all. Okay. So the kids are interested. I mean, you talk, especially when you talk about the ability to make money, but then when they find out all the work that's involved, don't want to do all that, type thing. Well,
sounds like a real estate agent. No,
hey, we just,
Hey, you're planting a seed. You're
planting absolutely. A seed. There you go.
Well, hey, Robert, maybe maybe if you ever have guest speakers in, I mean, I'd love to go, chop it up with the husband.
No. Well, what I'm planning to do. I'm planning on this 1 o'clock thing. Y'all are going to be on the TV screen for them to watch. I said, y'all listen to what they're at, all these, learn how to do. And I think that's the thing that will catch their attention is that I can tell them, hey, I'm learning about YouTube, how to optimize, how to get your SEO scored. These are tips, what you need to do to start your own channel and start doing this. And then you just do the same thing when you're in real estate or whatever you do. Type thing. So, because I teach entrepreneurship, and it's the same idea. The biggest part is just getting people to know you're out there. Yeah. How do I market? We think it's the skill to do the job, but it's actually the marketing is the most important part. Because, like you say, what y'all were talking about before, I had a bunch of questions, and y'all answered most of them before I could get on. I was traveling and trying to get back home and stuff, and so. But the kids are. I think I'm excited, and we'll need to do that for sure.
Yeah, it's
So,
funny.
yeah.
I had a professor from the local community college reach out to me, just cold emailed me and said, "Hey, I run the entrepreneur program here at the local community college. Found your channel online." And he goes, "We've been teaching this YouTube concepts." He goes, "You're just doing everything that we talk about perfectly." He's like, "I would love for you to come talk to the students."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" It's down the street and to make an impact. I mean, it's something that I just don't feel, definitely wasn't a big thing when I went through high school. There wasn't a big entrepreneurial push. I mean, no internet was around at that time. So you didn't get the exposure of, it was like, maybe you heard about, I don't know. I couldn't even tell you who were the business icons in the 90s. Maybe Lee Iacocca of Chrysler or something. It's like it had to be a major car company or Coke,
Right.
like those were the and there was only 2 or 3 as far as that you randomly heard about sometimes about. And now it's, entrepreneurs are everywhere, exposure everywhere, building their personal brands, getting exposure, getting traction, writing the books. I mean, it's pretty significant.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, and it's the driving force of our economy is small business.
Absolutely.
So it's just getting through the first 5 years, and after that, you're in pretty good shape. But if you survive that first 5, and I've had my real estate license for 15 years, but I did flipping houses, and just finished up one and sold it and made about $55,000. So it's doable in a small market. I mean, all the things you see on the, over in Dallas or over in Toronto or wherever, you can do it in Bossier City, type thing. So, and I've lived there all my life, so I can, I'm like you, I can talk about it and not even have to think about it. I remember back when there was cows over there,
Yep.
that kind of thing. And it's kind of a funny story, type of thing.
That's it.
But it's good.
All right, Robert. Well, thanks for joining us today. And any other questions? Are you good?
No, I'm good until next week.
All right. Well, we'll see you then. And
all right, thank you.
Yep. See you, Robert. All right. Well, I think that's pretty good timing. Great way to end up the call today. And those are some really good questions. And I think a great overview. Let me see. I think we're cleared out the chat. We're good to go there.
Yep. I think we answered everybody's questions there. Checked both the private chat and the public chat, and I think we are good.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, Chrissy, and we will see you next week, same time, same place. Thank you for joining us on today's podcast. If you're interested in partnering with us to access our YouTube course and coaching all for free, schedule a call at 5starstrategycall.com.